Hi, my name is Ari. I'm a rising senior at SAR High School, and my main project was the RC tank. So the first thing I did when building this tank was I had to build the chassis. The chassis is made up of three parts. There's the gearbox, the universal plate, and the wheels and treads. So when building the gearbox, there was four options for how to configure the wheels. I decided to choose a middle option so I could balance the torque with the speed of the wheels. So now when the motors are powered, they rotate the gears, which in turn move the tank. After building the chassis, I moved on to the Arduino and I connected it to the motor shield. The motor shield is an expansion board for the Arduino, which allows it to power motors more easily. Next, I took the PS2 receiver and I researched what each of the 9 pins in the receiver do. Then I researched where to plug it into the Arduino, and I plugged in these wires to connect the Arduino into the PS2 receiver. Then I downloaded the PS2 library onto my computer. A library is a set of functions which allow the code to be written easier. So in the case of the PS2, it tells the Arduino that if I press X, that is a certain command. So with that, I connected the motors to the motor shield, and I'm using 2 different batteries to power the motor shield and the Arduino, and every time I press a button, a signal is sent to the receiver, which tells the Arduino to power the motors through the motor shield. Some modifications I'd like to make. Right now there's 2 different batteries, one for the motor shield and one for the Arduino. I'd like to make this be able to be powered by only one battery, and it'll power the whole thing correctly. Also, I'd like to make this all of the wires and everything sit nicely on top of the tank, so it's not so messy and it looks more clean. I'd like to add an ultrasonic sensor so that if the tank gets near a wall, it will stop automatically. And lastly, I'd like to add a phone case so I could put a phone on the tank, and then I would video chat the phone, and I can see from a different device what the tank sees. Some challenges I faced while building the tank. One is I had some problems with the power, and the batteries kept shutting off because we were drawing too much power from it, so had to use 2 batteries. Another problem I had is that my first receiver wasn't functioning properly, and I had to get a new one. And lastly, the building of the chassis, the instructions were not very clear, so that took a couple of days to figure out how exactly to assemble it. So as you can see, there's a little bit of a mess of wires here, and 2 batteries powering, one is powering the motor shield and one is powering the Arduino. So the way it works is that I have 2 forward functions, so I can press this and it'll go, and when I release it, the motor releases. And I also have brakes, so I can brake instead of releasing the motor. So it'll go forward and backwards, and I can release it or I could brake. And yeah, that's it.